Hello students, I am Shail Madhur. In this video lecture, I will talk about headline writing for newspaper. Well students, this topic will cover what headline is, why headlines are important and how to write headlines for newspapers. So let's get started. Well, in simple words, if headlines are to be explained, defined, it is simply a heading or a title of a news story in a newspaper. And headline is usually printed in large letters at the top of the story, which you might have seen in the newspapers, right? Headlines get printed for the magazine stories as well. Now, sometimes it is one line, sometimes more. It is set in larger and bolder type than the body of the article, and also headline indicates the subject matter or the content of the news story. So in simple words, you can say that headline tells you what is there in the story. Headlines are important. Why? Because they help to grab the attention of the reader. It is job of the headline to ultimately tell and sell so that the attention of the reader can be grabbed, okay, and along with that the information about the story can be given to the readers. Especially in the era where receiver, you being the receiver, has ample of options to gain information from. You have digital media, you have television, you have n number of other sources through which you gain the information, right? And especially for a newspaper, when competitors are like internet that has even passed television in terms of speed, especially when it comes to deliver the news. Now in such situation, it is very challenging, becomes challenging for print media to grab the attention of the receiver, and here comes headline into the play, right? So headlines are important. Headlines are really the most important part. Why? Because first I told you that it grabs the attention of your reader, right? Along with that, headline tells you what is there in the story. Okay, your headline is a real point of connection between the reader and the story, right? So never try to inform something different through the headline. Always try to deliver something relevant through the headline, something which is going to be there in your news article or in your news story. Only then the headline makes the point. Right. Now, the headline is a large letter, line or text on the page, which is likely to be the first thing a reader will see. So you need to take care that whenever the reader will open the newspaper and see the headlines, it should motivate the reader to read the rest of the article. Often readers will be willing to read a headline that provides factual information or that will solve a problem, right? So now let us discuss that how to write the headline. First and foremost is you need to be accurate. This is important. Why? Because a headline should entice readers, but it should not oversell or distort what the story is about. Always try to stay true with the spirit and the meaning of the article. Always try to deliver the facts which are there in the story, just to make it look or sound or make it look visibly appealing, or simply with the purpose of grabbing the attention of the readers. Don't try to put anything in the headline, right? This is very important. Usually many, when they start writing headlines, they lack in this. They are unable to build or establish the relationship between headline and the story and do not deliver the facts. Next is keep it simple and short. It's very simple to understand, right? When you are writing the headline, keep it very short. Nobody has a time to read lengthy headlines, right? If that's what you are going to do with your headlines, there's no point of writing the news story. So keep them short, because short headline is always better. Also, do not repeat the lead. If the headline and the lead are too similar, the lead will become redundant. Ultimately, you are telling the same thing in the headline which you will be telling in your lead or in the first paragraph of the news story. Now, next in the line is you need to be direct with the headline. Whatever you have to say it directly, right? Yes, it is important to be creative, but every time just to be creative, it's not required that you have to go out of the box. Sometimes creativity can be seen in the simplicity as well, right? Try to keep it short yet creative, and also take care that everything is being explained in a proper manner, right? Don't lie in the name of creativity, keep it simple. Now, to bring more liveliness through the headlines, use the active voice. Remember the subject, verb, object formula for news writing and for the news headline writing as well. Start with your subject, write in the active voice, and your headline will convey more information using fewer words. Other thing you can do is write in present tense. This is very important again. Even if most stories are written in the past tense, headlines should always or should almost be written in present tense. For example, farmers getting ready to move back, right? Or Kejriwal announces measures to bring Delhi pollution under control. Now, this is present tense. In both the examples, present tense is used to bring and make it sound more fresh and live, and this becomes really important when you are writing headline for a newspaper. Now, the next is avoid bad breaks. A bad break is when a head with more than one line splits a prepositional phrase and adjective and noun, any adverb, any verb or a proper noun, right? So, don't split a noun. For example, if you are writing a meeting in Prime Minister office, right? Try to keep this in one line rather than splitting prime and the minister in two lines. This is not going to bring any meaning to the headline, will have bad impact, and ultimately you are breaking a bad break, right? So, make your headline now appropriate to the story, which I told you earlier also, that headline needs to be relevant. Relevant means that it should be part of your story itself, right? Sometimes just to be humorous with the headlines, right? Sometimes just to be light-hearted with the headline, people lose the relevance, right? And this is of no use for a reader. If your headline is talking about something else, your story is about something else, it is not going to help you in case of newspaper especially, right? Though this is practiced on digital platforms, which you might have observed too, but when it comes to newspaper, do not try or do not follow this rule at all. As I said, the content of the headline should match to the story. Also, the tone of the headline should also match to the story. Avoid exaggerating the content in the article by using an overblown headline, and write relevant headline. Let there be a relationship between headline and the story, which is the right way of doing it. Next, take care of the numbers in the headline. Numbers often go against AP style in headlines. For example, you may start a sentence with a number, and even though that number is below 10, you do not have to spell it out, right? Another important thing, punctuations. If it is not used properly, it will change the entire meaning of the headline. Trust me, it is going to bring a lot of change. Okay. The another thing which you need to take care while writing the headline, make it clear. Use proper names in the headline, right? And try not to use the name if the names are not popular among people, right? If people can recognize the names immediately, do write them in the headline, do add them in the headline, otherwise you can always avoid. Similar case is with the abbreviations. Now, everyone is not familiar with all the abbreviations, right? Many abbreviations that are not acceptable in the stories can be accepted in the headlines, but still try to avoid using abbreviations all the time. You can use general abbreviations like PM, okay, the abbreviations which people are familiar with, which are popularly known to the people, right? Otherwise, explain them and explain them in the story. Next is that try not to start the headline with the word, right? Another is, this is last one, but yes, it is important. You need to understand where to capitalize. Always capitalize the first word of the headline and any proper nouns, right? And do not capitalize every word unless that's the style of your particular publication, right? So this was all about headlines and why headlines are important, what are the main functions of the headlines, and how a headline should be written. I hope these points are clear to you and you will take care about these while writing the headlines. Thank you very much.